Hi, welcome to the final part of Breaking Bias, where we're looking at artificial intelligence and how to avoid baked-in bias. We've talked about the training data of AI systems. We've looked at the black box problem, and we've looked at the teams developing these systems and how bias can creep in at every stage. So what can we do to fix this now? Well, on the bright side, there are plenty of resources that can help. The AI Now Institute is a pretty good starting place. AI Now Institute is a practical resource of white papers and documents that can help you when you're developing AI systems, be that around the teams themselves or how you're actually coding them. They've put together a paper called Discriminating Systems that gives some really great advice on the teams that we use and some really practical tips when we should be thinking about when developing AI systems. Now, this is a really big paper, but I've pulled out a few key points to talk about that I think are really important. First one is change hiring processes to maximize diversity. Take a look at that entire end-to-end hiring process. Who is selecting the resumes that get put forward? Who's in the room during the interview? And whose final say is it who gets hired? How can that team making those decisions be more diverse at every stage? Maybe it's as simple as having a more diverse team just sitting in those interviews and assisting with some of the feedback and information at the end. Increase diversity at senior levels of AI companies. As we've seen, it's not a problem just for the teams developing these things. Bias can creep in at many stages. So you need a diverse team at every level, all the way up to senior management. And then maybe when you have a more diverse team at senior levels, working on black faces won't be seen as a phase 2 problem. Create transparency with AI systems. When is AI being used in your life right now? Do you know? Are you informed every time you encounter a system that is based on AI? Companies should be transparent about when AI is being used in the decision-making processes. AI systems require rigorous testing, possibly one of the most important ones on the whole list. And we've seen the problems that happen when these systems aren't rigorously tested. It's fundamentally just bad for business. It's bad PR, and it means that your system doesn't work on huge amounts of customers that you probably want it to. It's completely shooting yourself in the foot to create a system where you're excluding so many potential customers and users. And finally, assess whether certain systems should even be developed at all. We're still in the early days of AI right now, so we should be considerate and responsible for what we're using it for. And that goes for the startups that get investment and the off-the-shelf products that we buy to build some of those AI systems. AI is very young right now. Let's not be using it for things such as judging whether someone gets parole or whether someone gets hired or not. Now, this could just be me being naive, but I think those points are something that we could start addressing right now in our workplace, and they are practical changes that we could make. Hire more diverse teams. Create more diverse products for people to use. Now, there will be problems when we start creating diverse teams that we haven't encountered in the workplace yet. Recently, I saw this tweet from an ex-manager at Google who said this: "When I was a manager at Google, I built a team that was 50% not men and 30% people of color. Because I challenged racism and sexism, white men on my team self-reported feeling less psychologically safe on biannual assessment, and I was penalized for creating an unsafe environment." So there are going to be problems, and we're going to have to work out how we deal with them. But I think we can do this, and I do think we can get back on track to creating that unbiased society that we're hoping to drive towards. And there is hope. Just now I went back to Google and I had a look at that translate feature, and I put in that Turkish phrase that we saw earlier, and this happened. It suggests both the male and the female pronoun. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? These things can be fixed, but they're going to have to be fixed by working together with a diverse team. And with that diverse team, we're going to create much more diverse products. They're going to work on everyone. And we're going to move away from this exclusion and move towards a society that is way more inclusive and hopefully unbiased. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe, and send this to anyone who you think might find it interesting. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm over on Twitter at UXTomM. Please do drop by and say hi. Thanks.